Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. We're going to discuss Week 3. It's time for Garbage Time. If Justin Jefferson is off, I'm going to be pissed.
Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football, guys. If you haven't figured out, we're doing the recap show while the Rams game is going on behind my TV, and Ron is watching his team currently losing, so he needs Justin Jefferson to help him out. So
yeah, he needs to knock it off is what he needs to do. And Higbee needs to do a little bit more.
Hey, Higbee got his touchdown for the week, so he helped out some of us.
Well, right now, currently, so in our DFS lineups, it's me and JJ are neck and neck. Right now, I'm 114.64. He's 114.62.
And I broke 100 finally, so I'm finally doing all right in DFS. Although my KJ Osborne and Rondale Moore calls this week and them playing well, they did nothing. Neither one of them. Absolutely nothing this week. So that is absolutely disappointing.
Why is this bullshit on my screen right now? I don't care about the Falcons beating the Giants.
If you guys haven't figured out by now, we are all very depressed after this because
top 5 pick for the Giants coming up this year. It's going to be great.
Jets are getting the number 1 pick, so you can fight for it.
We'll fight for it. They might have to. At the end of this year, we might have to do a coin flip because we'll probably have both 0-17. So,
yeah. Anyway, so if you guys haven't figured out too, Ron's a Giants fan. His team lost. I'm a Jets fan. We got stomped. Ryan's a Patriots fan. His team lost.
Got stomped.
And JJ's so mad because his Bears lost, he refused to show up to the podcast tonight.
That's true.
So he's taking a little bit of
you might not see him this week at all.
JJ's literally going into hiding.
Yeah, JJ might be hibernating. Oh, Bears fan. Bears reference. Oh, I did.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. All right.
I can really see it.
Hey, Ron, can you give us
I'm back in.
He's ready to go. Ron, give us that recap drop, can you?
Yeah, I suppose as soon as I find it.
That's how we all feel anyway, so give it to us. Yes, that's what we all did after our games. It is terrifying, but so was football this week. It was completely terrifying.
How every week? How is it that every week I forget what that drop is? Every week.
All right, boys, let's roll through these games. All right, so we are doing this on Sunday night because of some of our scheduling too. So we have gone through all the games minus the Sunday night game and the Monday night game, which we'll go over on a later show this week. So starting off, we're going to start with a big upset of the week, the Chiefs and Chargers. Herbert looks absolutely fantastic in this game, went for 281 yards, 4 touchdowns. And I think Mike Williams really became their number 1 wide receiver today with 2 touchdowns. He's really taking over that role.
Yeah, which we talked about him in the last episode, I think. Yeah, he had a killer day.
I don't think he's the number 1, but he's benefiting from.
I think he is, dude. Keenan Allen, I mean, is the possession receiver, but the possession receiver a lot of times is the number 2 on this team, and Mike Williams has been absolutely fantastic the first 3 weeks. They're trusting him. They're going to him, and they are in the red zone.
I mean, Keenan Allen got more targets today. He got 12 compared to Mike Williams, 9. But Mike Williams just had a ridiculous, 7 of those were receptions for 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just
Rob, would you at least say it's a 1A, 1B situation?
Oh, definitely.
That's
but
fair.
I think I kind of gauge who's the top wide receiver by who the top corner on the other team covers, and that's Keenan Allen. Because if you were to switch the corners and switch who their focal point was, you could very easily see the stat line look exactly opposite.
Right.
Keenan Allen has the monster day and Mike Williams.
And let's just say this too. The Chargers did exactly what you have to do to beat the Chiefs in this game too. They went for it on 4th down. They're like, I'm not giving Patrick Mahomes back the ball. We're going for it.
Yeah.
And something very unexpected happened in this week, this very strange fantasy week. Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes for over 100 yards. Is he viable? And a touchdown.
As soon as I bench him. Like, after I talked shit all week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was the right play. They haven't used him at all this year.
That's right. Tyreek went a little bit cold again this week too, and
2 weeks in a row. I hate that.
Yeah, he's a little bit. He's definitely a flash in the pan early on in this season.
And I think we gotta mention the fact that, getting ahead of myself a little bit, but Christian McCaffrey out for a few weeks. That's devastating.
That's going to be some news on the waiver wire show later in this week.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That hurts.
Did you guys want to cover that game too? Because we haven't covered the Thursday yet.
Yeah, we didn't cover that, Jim.
Look, I had Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley in one of my leagues.
Mm.
First Not 2 good. Weeks, Saquon Barkley killed me. This week, Christian McCaffrey is going to kill me. I'm telling you, I may be 0-3 after this week, maybe even 0-4 after next week. But you give me those two guys, Saquon's finally back. I know he had a soft matchup, but I think he's back. But you give me those two guys, I'm making the playoffs.
Bold prediction. Calling it now, Mr. 0-3. Ron
He's going to get his Giants on. He's going to go 0-4 and then win it all.
That's right. I'm not playing around. I'm making it to the playoffs.
You better make some trades then. Maybe trade away one of those big running backs you have.
I think you might be missing McCaffrey for more than a week, though, bud.
I think he might be missing the wide receiver aspect of his team, too, besides Calvin Ridley, who had a all right kind of a week.
Let's give it some time. It's shaping up, all right? It's shaping up.
Well, luckily, 3 teams are going to make it from that side into the playoffs, and you're not too far behind. It's still early in the season, so I guess we'll see. So anyway, back to that Thursday night game.
Stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned. We'll see.
It just goes to show what a player can do when they're not on the Jets
Justin Jefferson's game is over. And I get the win. By
1-2?
By 0.02 points.
Oof.
Yet you're going to lose to me in Dynasty, who started Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke.
We're not talking about that right now, Joe. I'm talking about the DFS lineups where I'm winning. Because I'm a champion.
Because you're losing everywhere else.
Right, exactly. It's horrible.
Anyway, can we get back to the Thursday night game? Because I know you guys are really scared. I don't give a shit what you have to say about it. So anyway, Thursday night game, Sam Darnold performed well again. Is he a every week starter at this point at the back end of starting quarterbacks?
Sam Darnold, definitely in a super flex or 2 quarterback league.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely has very good streaming matchups though coming up. So if he's got a really soft defense he's playing, definitely can be started.
I think it's just
Go ahead.
Right. I say you go ahead.
Oh, okay. I think it's going to be you're almost going to have to wait and see how he does if Christian McCaffrey misses some time. What having that piece out, does it make him throw more? Does it hurt him offensively? Because I think McCaffrey's going to be out like 2-3 weeks minimum.
No, I don't think he will because they didn't put him on the short-term IR.
What are you saying, a week?
I'm thinking he'll miss. He's got he's already got the long week going this week. I think he misses
10 days,
week
right?
4. Right. I think he misses week 4. I think there's a legit chance he misses week 5. It's going to be
I think he misses week 5.
Tops.
Yeah.
There will not be the 3rd.
He's missing 2 weeks, I think, minimum.
Ron knows he's a doctor.
I'm Dr. Ron.
He's Tyrod Taylor's doctor.
He's a doctor. He's just not certified.
DJ Moore in that game was absolutely insane, though. He has established himself as the clear number 1 wide receiver in that offense, and they are going to need to rely on him going forward for the next 2 weeks because he's going to be out for 2 weeks.
I think part of that was the, Christian McCaffrey not being there, though.
Right. Yeah, so that'll make an interesting waiver wire claim, considering that rookie they have at that position, too.
Chuba
Hubbard? Chuba
Hubbard.
Chuba sounds better.
Chuba
Bubba. Chuba Bubba. Yeah, so he'll be an interesting waiver wire pickup with other guys. We'll get into this, too. So besides that, do you have anything to add with the Texans besides that Brandon Cooks is really good? And besides that, you have nothing else to add to that offense?
And the Texans just suck. Yeah.
Brandon Cooks didn't get any love in the draft season.
And he's been traded like 5 times.
Everybody in fantasy football are just dumb. Because Brandon Cooks has just done this his entire career. And everyone was like, yeah, but now look what he's playing with. But it's never mattered before.
He went unappreciated this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you yesing for over there, Ryan? I seen you say yes.
Oh, I was projected to lose in one of my leagues, but Tom Brady in garbage time, he scored like 10 points in the last 3 minutes.
Pulling through for his boy again at all times.
At all times.
All right, boys, let's talk about another weird game today. Cardinals and Jaguars, where there was a 68-yard field goal return for 109 yards, which ties the record for a return on a field goal. So that's not very fantasy relevant unless you play special teams in it too, but it was pretty damn cool. Besides that too, the Jacksonville Jaguars were highly inconsistent, although James Robinson started off very slow, and I sent a very pissed off message to everyone in our forum about that, and then ended up with 20 points at the end of the game. So a really weird day for him too. I don't know what the hell to do with James Robinson going into next week, because if Sermon somehow plays well this week, I've got receivers coming back if Antonio Brown's healthy. I just really don't know where to put him right now.
Do you sell him high? Just had a huge game.
Good.
I'm not sure. It might be a pretty good option. See if I can get someone a little bit more consistent, because Urban Meyer just doesn't know how to fucking use him.
Well, also, It could just be a sign of this offense maturing and growing, and he could end up being more involved.
Or he could just piss me off again next week, and if I trade him away, I don't have to worry about him anymore.
It's almost like what do you actually believe? And go from there. You can either try selling high if you don't believe this is going to be a consistent thing, or if you're on the path of, all right, we think that this offense is starting to click a little bit more. Now, so.
Yeah, and now let me just say this too. The Cardinals' wide receiving room is like the 49ers' running back room from last year. If you can figure out who's going to play well, you're going to have a good week at the wide receiver position if you have them. As for the running backs for the 49ers, that was the same thing last year. If you figured out which one was going to play well, you were in for a good week. But it's hard to predict because big old A.J. Green played good this week. What the hell's up with that? Christian Kirk played well, and Rondale Moore did nothing. And we were predicting all week Rondale Moore was going to have a good week.
Yeah.
Also, DeAndre Hopkins' injury did come through too. He didn't play that well. I don't know if that's just because other wide receivers are playing well or if they were just looking to rest him. But against the Jaguars, they didn't really need him to. And then,
do we know what his snap percentage was? How often he was actually out there? Did they limit him, or was he just not?
I feel like they just more look in his direction. I think he was still out there, more of a decoy though.
Right.
Draw some attention.
Yep, and Connor was nothing but a touchdown thief today, as Edmonds did pretty good in the running game. And, well, he did average in the running game and got a lot of passing work, so he was good in that aspect. But Connor's got the 2 touchdowns, so, he's stealing work back there and points from our boy.
I knew it was going to happen. That's why I wasn't that high on Chase Edmonds. If you look, they both had 11 carries.
Mm-hmm.
James Conner had more yards on his carries. He averaged 3.9, while Chase Edmonds was only 2.4. And he got the 2 touchdowns. Like,
absolute bullshit.
Chase Edmonds isn't bad because, 7 receptions for 49 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not going to get the touchdowns. Unless he breaks a 40-yard touchdown run, he's not going to get them.
Yep.
So,
and Kyler Murray did Kyler Murray things too. Pretty solid week for him too. It wasn't his 50 points from last week, but going to be absolutely exceptional going forward too. And he's going to be starting getting into these divisional games too, which will be interesting because a lot of these defenses are pretty good. Might bring him down a little bit, but I think he's still in for one hell of a year going forward. Next up on the list, we have the Colts and Titans, where Mr. Twisted 2 ankles over there, Carson Wentz, was going up against the Titans, and boy, did they suck today. They could absolutely do nothing. Wentz was horrible. The running game wasn't effective, and they tried both of their running backs there with Taylor and Naheem Hines. Pittman looked like the number 1, but only got like 60 yards.
Hines had a solid day, I think.
Garbage time, I think, though. Just that offense couldn't get going at all.
Yeah, 18 points today.
Who won out of Cincinnati and Pittsburgh?
Cincinnati won.
Stomped them.
Yeah, their defense played very well.
As soon as I dropped Joe Burrow, he goes and throws 3 touchdowns.
Did the Raiders beat Miami?
We will get to that later, Ron. Let's not jump ahead yet.
I'm trying to see how I did with my game picks.
Why don't you actually focus on the show that you're going into? Because you can look at that after.
Okay, let's focus on the Saints-New England game where you guys all told me I was ridiculous.
No, we can't focus on Ron's. Can't focus on Ron's negatives. We got to go with some positive, I guess. So let's let him do it.
I think we said ridiculous.
You were all telling me I was very mistaken that the Saints even had a chance of winning this game.
Oh, I sure thought you were absolutely mistaken.
I didn't say that.
Ron, to answer your question, the game's not over. There's still 3:57 left, and the Raiders are up 28-25, and the Dolphins have it under 40-yard line. So it is a very close game. Anyway, go ahead and brag some more because that's what we're going to let you do.
I think I got it out.
All right. Well, what did you take away from this game then? And then we'll just jump right back around and get back to the Titans after.
I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but I took away that the Patriots offense does not look great.
So they went up against let the Patriots fan tell it.
Yeah, the 2 tight ends, especially Jonnu Smith, huge bust so far this year, not doing much of anything. Another situation where you don't know what wide receiver is going to do what, because I think Bourne pretty much got all the points for wide receivers.
So Bourne went for 96 yards and a touchdown, and Myers got 94 yards quietly.
Yeah, so it in the run game was non-existent today. Damien Harris, who's been pretty solid the past 2 weeks, I don't think he got much of anything going.
Yeah,
I think we got to stretch the field. We don't have that deep threat wide receiver. We can't toss the ball down the field.
That kid is upset.
Not happy right now.
Wow.
That he's expressing himself. Leave him alone.
Yeah,
he's a Patriots fan. He's not happy about it.
Exactly. So just not good. I mean, and you can't even put it that much on our defense just because our offense wasn't doing anything.
On the adverse of that game too, man, Kamara had himself a game, and I'm so happy he got traded to me. 89 yards on the ground and a receiving touchdown too. I got a lot of receiving work, so he was all over the place. Their starting quarterback though, Jameis Winston, average day, just kind of controlled the ball, but that's all they needed to do because their defense played absolutely phenomenal against a rookie QB, which Mac Jones is going to have those kind of weeks. But at least, Ryan, your offense is showing that they're going to do what he does well, which is short passing work. And that just is a perfect fit for him in that offense. So, yes, a lot of interceptions in that game, but I think going forward, you're still going to see production out of that offense. It just the problem is where is it going to come from? Because it's wildly inconsistent. Is the work going to go to the running backs or receivers or the tight ends? So far, you've gotten no work from the tight ends at all. The receivers had a pretty good week this week, and the running backs did nothing this week. It's a hard offense to really figure out what's going to happen for fantasy football purposes. There's no more than flex players on the offense outside of Harris.
Yeah, and so for that trade, we said JJ was either going to look like a genius or a complete idiot. He's not leaning towards genius right now. We'll give it a few more weeks, but man, that's
he lost his number 1 running back there, and boy, does Robinson not look like he's going to do anything with Justin Fields back there because that offensive game there, absolutely horrible. That coach needs to be fucking fired. He's this year's Adam Gase.
We could segue into 2 talking points right here.
Go ahead.
The first being how awful their offense looked. The second being Justin Tucker's amazing 66-yard field goal.
Broke the record.
Which was more yardage than the Bears' entire offense.
Yep.
It was incredible. Let's jump into that game if we actually are doing that too. So JJ's not here to talk about it. Fields, man, highly ineffective. They threw him to the wolves in this one, which sucks 9 sacks, and you're going up against the Browns, who are just very good on defense. 68 yards in total, and that tied for the field goal. Montgomery still was involved. Didn't do very good though. 12 yards. or was it 12 carries? I believe it might have been 12 yards. It was just bad all around. Robinson had 27 yards, just real bad. Baker Mayfield looks like a quarterback too. He had 246 yards and a touchdown. He's based on what you're going to be seeing, you have to check the lineup before you play him too. And Odell came back and had 77 yards, so he was fairly effective in his first start back. He didn't look too bad, but in this game where the Browns really dominated was on the ground. Both players went for 84 yards and 81 yards and scored a touchdown each. And Hunt went crazy in the passing game too and had over 60 yards receiving. So Hunt got a lot of work this week.
Yeah. I don't know how Nagy still keeps his job. It's truly amazing.
Yeah,
I think you could just drop our screaming drop again, Ron, for JJ. If no, okay.
The weekly recaps one.
Yeah. It just fits perfect for the narrative.
That's how we all feel, really.
It's
well,
like
especially with Jets fans. I mean, with Bears fans, how excited they were to see Justin Fields come out and play, and then just for it to.
By seeing how both
knife right to the heart.
Yeah, by seeing how both players played today, I don't think you would have. I think you would have gotten the same result regardless of which quarterback was on which team. It's just bad all around for everyone.
Yeah, your offensive line should not be allowing 9 sacks.
No.
I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if any of them were Justin Fields' fault. Like where he just ran sideways and instead of taking off and running or throwing it out of bounds, he just got a sack. It could have been some of those ones where he just ran sideways and then ran out of bounds and they count that as a sack.
It's still 9.
It's bad.
It's all right. My boy got hit 5 times today too, so still eating turf like he has been.
He threw at least 1 pick still, right?
He threw 2.
2?
And one of them was at the end of the game.
And here we go. I picked the Bears and they lose.
Yep. Let the trend continue.
That's so funny.
All right, let's cover one more thing to it. Yeah, we got to cover one aspect of the Colts-Titans game that we didn't get to, though, too, which was the offense. Tannehill had a very good game again, too. 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but it was 197 yards. So he is getting the ball in the end zone, too. Derrick Henry, 113 yards again, so stopping on the ground, too. Tannehill also rushed for 56 yards, so he got his work on the ground, too. But the receivers, highly ineffective. Julio didn't even really have that big of a game, too. It's kind of a pish-posh of wide receivers going right now, even with 2 very good wide receivers there. So Tannehill's
Brown got injured.
He did. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't even think of that.
A.J. Brown was injured. He didn't have a catch or anything.
That might be more work for Odell then. I mean, Julio Jones going into the next few weeks. I know. I fixed it. It's all right.
We completely forgot?
What happened?
We have a voicemail.
Ooh, yeah. Let's talk about the Bills game next. Angry Christian.
Where I need to be.
He's bringing it up, guys.
All right. I'm going to hit the button. Tell me if you can hear it and everything.
Let's do it.
Hey, guys. It's your favorite hackling fan here from Highmark Stadium, the home of the Buffalo Bills with
his wife.
Just letting you guys know how much you guys suck. Go Bills.
See, the voicemails don't have to be anything special.
No, I'm happy for him though. At least someone on this show that shows up is happy. So let's get into the Washington and Bills game. We're happy for you, Christian. And yes,
Josh Allen had a day.
Whew, boy, did he have a day. You want to talk about it, Ryan?
Touchdowns in the first half.
Yes, sir.
45 fantasy points, I think. So finally broke out what Bills fans have been waiting for. I'm officially out on the Washington defense that I was so high on coming into this season.
I agree.
I mean, I gave him a week. Then after week 2, I was like, okay, just let them settle in. And now I don't know what's going on, but that defense just is not even close to what they were supposed to be.
It's amazing that on Instagram and Facebook that meme was going around of him looking at the camera saying, "This is what I'm going to do to the rest of the league after this week." It was just a look of him looking like he's going to destroy something, and he absolutely destroyed Washington today. But on the other side, Heineke really hung in there this week. He looked freaking good. And Ron's got a look on his face. I'll get through this, and then I'll let him go through what he's saying. I think he scored 25 points again as a sub and backup. So he's really going around there, and he's got a propensity to play with McLaurin. On the other side, too, though, the Bills are showing that Emmanuel Sanders is actually a thing in this offense, too. He got involved early and often. And
it is available in a lot of leagues.
He is. He's another person you're going to be able to look at on waivers this week. And Zach Moss got in the end zone again. So interesting. He's not very productive in the running game, but he gets in the end zone. So he might be able to get you some points. And let's go to Ron for this bullshit he's about to tell us.
I think he fell asleep.
I just looked at my DraftKings thing again.
Yep.
He lost.
To JJ.
I had the Raiders D going.
What happened?
They allowed Miami to score. and I've lost points.
So JJ's beating him. You've had a bad week all around.
I'm no longer in first place.
I love it.
And my soul has effectively been ripped from my body.
As it deserved to be.
I can't. This is 3 weeks in a row in the last 5 minutes of these games that I've lost first place.
Well, since your soul's already ripped out, do you want to get into the Falcons and Giants game?
No.
Yeah, well, too bad we're getting into it, Ron. What happened today?
We lost, as usual. We're going to have a top 5 pick, and I don't know what's wrong with my team. I said this to you guys, I think it was last week, where, our team is better than what we play. Think about it. Daniel Jones has not had an interception all year.
You are what you eat, Ron, and that's 0-3.
That's true. I don't foresee good things in our future.
Slayton got injured, right?
He did.
Shepard.
Yes,
Shepard
did.
Yeah, because I started him.
He looked like he was going to get work early for you guys. I saw him running routes, and then he got hurt. Galladay looked all right, though. So you've got that going for you. I think he will produce going forward. And on top of that, Saquon Barkley's playing well now, so it's not all doom and gloom for your team.
Got that touchdown today. That's nice.
20 points in fantasy, so he's actually producing. Maybe not like a first-round pick yet, but he's, third, fourth-round kind of guy right now. So he's getting right up to where you need him to be. So hopefully he'll be helping people win fantasy leagues later on in the season. Matt Ryan had a pretty decent game too, 243, 2 touchdowns. But what the hell is going on with the running game? Cordell Patterson is actually a thing. The running game is actually the passing game with Cordell Patterson. I believe he had 20 yards rushing, but 82 yards catching, even though he's listed as a running back. So what the frig is going on with that running game? And is anyone actually reliable besides Cordell Patterson?
Well, if in some formats, they actually have it listed as wide receiver or running back.
Yeah, it's weird. He's like the Taysom Hill of the Atlanta Falcons.
Right. So, there's that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Daniel Jones was meh today. He wasn't horrible, but he wasn't great.
He just didn't get the touchdown. He didn't get a rushing or a passing touchdown. So,
well, he's going from number 4 QB, probably out of the top 10 with that.
Throw a touchdown in there, and his points were right where they should have been.
I don't know. I don't know if he'll drop all the way out of the top 10. I bet you it definitely gets him down there a little ways, but.
Mm-hmm. Coming out of this game, though, if Cordell Patterson is somehow still on your waiver wire, you have to pick him up now. He has consistently played well 3 weeks in a row, and he's going to be someone that can help you win weeks. Now, obviously, Atlanta wants to use him. It's not working very well for their winning formula. They've only got 1 win on the season, but for some reason, they see something there, and they really want to use him. They're using him to replace Julio, I guess, which is very strange, and their running game. But going forward, too, Pitts had only 35 yards, but they were looking to get him targets. So Pitts will be fine going forward, too. And Ridley had an average game, but it was more like a wide receiver, too, with only 61 yards. So weird game by Ridley. I still think he'll get going, but he's not worth the capital that you drafted him for right now, which sucks.
Nope.
100%.
So far, my top 3 picks in our auction league have not been worth it.
Which I am elated about. I'm so happy about.
I'm not. So
He was so happy at the end of that draft.
Yeah, I really was.
I know.
Well, more like the beginning of the draft.
Yeah, true.
So I know I was joking earlier, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Giants are going to go 0-17. I just looked at their schedule.
Is it bad?
And we very well could go 0-17. So next week we got the Saints.
You're not going to go 0-17. You're losing games close. You're going to at least win a few. So
Hold on. We got the Saints.
Okay.
Then the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Rams.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Panthers.
Yeah, you guys.
Panthers. That might be your one.
Nope.
No.
I think you'll match up fine against them. Nope.
Raiders.
Yeah.
They're a weird team. Good
Buccaneers.
Not going to win that one.
Nope.
Eagles.
Divisional game.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Maybe. They're a weird team.
Chargers.
No.
Cowboys and Eagles again.
Could win one of those divisional. So you'll win one or two somewhere in there.
Bears. And then
You might win that one. You might win that one.
Every single one of those teams, minus the Cowboys, have a very good defense.
You're looking at 3-14. That's what it sounds like.
It's not going to be.
We've already talked about Washington. They don't have a good defense anymore.
Yeah, you might be able to.
They still beat us.
Yeah, but you still play them again.
I'm going to say 4 wins for you guys this season.
I say 3.
Tops.
But I also say we're going to get 3 too.
I legit say 1. I think we'll sneak out 1 game.
Dude, there's no way you're going to be worse than the Jets. 3 games in, we have scored 22 points. You've scored more than that in 1 game. We're going to have a worse record than you.
But we don't play the Jets.
I don't care. We're not going to win anything either. Who are we going to beat if you can't score anything?
Jets. I got the Jets schedule up right here. So so you got the Titans.
Nope.
The Falcons.
Maybe.
The Patriots. We already saw how that goes.
Ugh.
The Bengals.
Nope.
The Colts. The Bills.
Dolphins. Colts are weird. Maybe. Dolphins.
You guys play the Texans. You can beat them.
Yeah, 1 win. We'll get 1-16.
Eagles, Saints, Dolphins, Jaguars, Buccaneers,
2.
Bills. 2 wins, 2 or 3 wins.
2-15. I love it.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, since we're talking about them too, you guys want to talk about the Jets game? I've got some breakdown of it. There's not a lot to talk about on one side of the ball, but there's something to talk about on the other one. There is something interesting here. So, Wilson looked like a piece of shit today, but that's expected with a rookie. So I'm not giving up hope that he'll be good someday. It's just his offensive line is absolutely putrid. 5 sacks. His wide receivers were dropping the effing ball today. The only one you can play, but it's not week to week. You're going to have to gauge the lineups is Corey Davis. Do not play anything else in that offense. It is absolutely putrid right now. Melvin Gordon is still the starter there for Denver, although Javonte Williams is coming on too. Still a 50-50 split. I think that's going to go later on into this year too. I don't know if Javonte will end up taking that job. KJ Hamler ended up getting hurt, and that injury looked so nasty that they weren't going to replay it on any channel, which is divisive to say. He might be out for a while. So this is going to be a very big opportunity for Tim Patrick and Noah Fant going forward because they are hurting at that position.
Wait, who got injured?
KJ Hamler.
Oh, it was bad.
So if Tim Patrick is not picked up in your league, pick him up now because he's going to be the number 2 with Cortland Sutton there, and he's going to be getting a lot of targets, and he's already been getting work with all the other guys that weren't out. So Tim Patrick going forward is potentially going to be a good pickup for you. And Teddy Bridgewater looked fine. He was actually throwing good passes against a very young, horrible defense too. So it was good all around, I thought.
Yeah, he's looked real good this year.
Mm-hmm. Unlike the Jets.
Unlike the Jets and the Giants, right?
But like I said, I'm not in the depressive state that you are too because I knew what I was getting this year. It's a young team. There's going to be horrible growing pains with it. We have 2 draft picks like you guys next year, but you guys are trying to build something with the shit that's currently in your roster. Ours is at least young. So,
What I'm thinking is we will do a soft rebuild after this year.
Yeah, you're going to Band-Aid it and see what happens.
I think we'll get a new quarterback. And I'm not getting rid of the possibility that we won't have Saquon Barkley next year.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, Noah Fant going forward now might be a week. He was a starter in most leagues, but he might be an upper end starter going forward now, especially with that injury to KJ Hamler, and at least until Mr. Alabama comes back. Why am I forgetting his name? One on IR.
Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, until Jerry Jeudy comes back. So I think he's a very comfortable start going forward. Didn't do a ton today in this game, but they need to throw that ball somewhere besides Sutton, and Tim Patrick and him are going to be the people to throw to. So look for them going forward in a Denver team that is surprisingly 3-0 and 2 games up on the Chiefs.
Yeah, that injury was gnarly. He's out for a long time.
Yeah, no, it was just a bad – oh, you went back and watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely nasty. All right, so let's move on to our next game, too. Bengals and Steelers. Bengals, boys, finally got their win today against the Steelers, which rarely happens.
Yeah.
TJ Watt was out today, too, I think, which may have hurt the defense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Burrow, 3 touchdowns.
I almost went and switched my pick, and I had Cincinnati in there first, and then I switched it to Pittsburgh. I almost I almost went back and switched it today back to Cincinnati, but I thought.
And Ben's just a tree. Like he can't do anything.
Yeah, no, he's a 39-year-old tree, as Ryan stated. Burrow though is not a tree. 3 touchdowns, and he's got a true bell cow running back in that backfield with him now, which shocks me. Mixon had 18 carries for 90 yards today, so he's getting work, and they're going to give him the ball as much as he can handle it. Yes. He's handling it well. Jamar Chase, good day too, 65 yards. Good day for a rookie. As ineffective as Pittsburgh's offense was, Najee Harris got a ton of work in the passing game too. So when they get him balanced, it is going to be absolute shit on everyone's city for that guy. Buy low now if you can get him, because I'm telling you, he's going to do some fantastic things later on in the year. I understand he didn't do a lot in the running game, but in that passing game, it was good.
14 receptions for over 100 yards.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
At the running back position.
It'll be interesting to see what changes when Deontay Johnson comes back. But still, insane.
Yep. Also, Claypool got a little bit of work in this game, too. He looked good, 96 yards on 9 receptions. That was with a wide receiver hurt too, and Pat Freiermuth also got a touchdown in this game. I think he is
having a dynasty.
That's right, and I think it's a good pickup because he has established himself as the number 1 tight end in Pittsburgh and an offense that likes to pass the ball. So going forward, when Big Ben is actually settled in and not having these weird ass weeks where he played an underrated Bengals defense, Freiermuth might be a good play for you.
I almost was going to go and see if I can get Freiermuth from you. In the dynasty
if you trade me Lamar Jackson, I'll give you Freiermuth.
So, Ron, for our listeners, what were you considering trading for him?
Oh, I was just going to try to lowball and see if I could get maybe throw a 3rd-round pick and maybe one of the wide receivers I have on my bench that, one of the younger ones, maybe even Elijah Moore or something.
Yeah, Elijah Moore is doing nothing. He's droppable. I hung on to him one more week. I was actually going to drop him for someone else, KJ Osborne, which did nothing too. But listen here, Elijah Moore, it's time to drop him. I hung on to him one more week because I had an IR spot and I had the availability to hang on to him one more week. You're safe to drop him now, and he will. Yes, I will be dropping him off my roster. And Dynasty, hang on to him. Long-term outlooks will probably be good. But the way that offense is working, it's not doing anything anyway. You don't want any part of that offense. So,
and Dynasty listeners, if someone tries to trade you a 3rd-round pick and Elijah Moore for Pat Freiermuth, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Wow. So I went through and I looked at all the game picks for the early slated games here.
Mm-hmm.
Me, JJ, and Ryan all picked 6 wrong. Joe picked 7 wrong.
Yeah, buddy. Just a bad week all around for everything.
I want to give
so-called experts.
I want to give JJ the props for actually choosing the the Rams to beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that was good.
I also want to point out that Joe said Washington was going to beat Buffalo.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that was bad.
that was the thing that happened.
Yeah, looking for an upset, didn't get it.
We all whiffed on.
Sorry about that, Christian. City. I suck.
We all whiffed on the Giants. We all whiffed on Pittsburgh, and we all whiffed on Seattle.
Oof.
Yeah.
Bad.
Oof.
All right. Well, speaking of teams that don't have wide receivers, since we were talking about that too, the Lions wide receiving room, absolutely horrible going forward. I don't know what you do with that wide receiver room. Although their running game, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
They split work there. Both of them had over 40 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and I think Swift got a lot of receiving work too, which kind of took it away from Hawkinson, who put up a dud today.
Yep.
No,
still safe going forward, I think, though.
Yes.
Still safe going forward. Nothing to worry about there.
Oh, absolutely. But definitely a rough week. I think Swift just got so much of the receiving work that they just kind of rolled with him.
Yep. And speaking of Hawkinson and other tight ends, too, Mark Andrews finally showed up. He had 109 yards on 5 receptions. So good for Mark Andrews. Welcome back to the NFL. Lamar had a weird week, too. 287 yards and a touchdown, but he gets his rushing work, so still effective on the ground, too. And the Lions, scrappy, still lose the game, but damn that field goal, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane.
Record-breaking 68-yard, was it?
No,
Did you guys see it?
66.
They tried another game. They tried the 68-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
And then that resulted in a 109-yard return for a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was a 68-yard.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So great week for special teams, just not for us.
Yeah.
Nope.
You guys have any other takeaways from that game? I mean, Brown slowed down a little bit too, so he was really consistent. 53 yards, though. Not bad. Not absolutely horrible, but he's still getting involved. I think he's going to be very good this year. More consistent. He's showing that. So definitely down week, but that's also because the pie for passing is much smaller than it is for other teams. And this week it was Mark Andrews. So I think he'll be fine going forward.
Yeah.
All right, on to our next game, too. Now we can finally talk about the Bucks and Rams. So, boys, what did you think of this game?
I think I'm going to get rid of Robert Woods.
This is something absolutely horrible going on right now. Listen, Deshaun Jackson had over 100 yards. Van Jefferson got involved again. Cooper Kupp did his thing. I believe 2 touchdowns in this game.
Sounds about right.
Probably.
Yes, about 100 yards and 2
touchdowns.
Yep. 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. It is time to hit the panic button on Robert Woods. But listen, it might also be a buy low option. I don't think anyone will cut. I don't know if people will cut him, but I think people might be trying to jettison him. He's at least going to people's bench. You might get lucky and he might get cut and you can pick him up. But, maybe potentially buy low on someone you don't give a shit on your bench. But people are definitely hitting the panic button. If he was on my roster, I would be hitting the panic button right now. But here's a question for you guys. Who would you panic more about right now, right before the game? Brandon Ayuk or Robert Woods?
Brandon Ayuk.
Oh,
yeah.
God. I hope he does something tonight.
It's just so, what is going on with him? That's what I don't understand.
Well, we'll see shortly
he's
here in about
nothing.
40 minutes. Yeah, no, getting absolutely nothing going on there. Also in this game, too, Stafford looking like a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year. Just looks absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
It shows what he can do after he got off his last team.
Mm-hmm. And somebody in our league got an absolute value on him in our auction league, too, after, I believe, losing the auction battle with me for a Cardinals quarterback. So good for you, Smith. Yes. I believe it was Smith. It was Smith that did it. So good pickup. Good for you. You made the smart decision backing down. So anyway, Kupp doing his thing again. Mike Evans got involved in this game, too. He was getting work, was a little bit frustrated. Tom Brady got him the ball.
Well, Antonio Brown was out, too. And Rob Gronkowski got injured.
He did.
So.
Yep, and Tom Brady did well, getting more points at garbage time. So Tom was Tom.
Yep, garbage time points were awesome. All the Godwin, too, who I also had. So
anything that's named garbage time is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Automatically.
So with that, Ron, would you like to get into the Dolphins-Raiders game since you were watching it so intently?
Oh, I wasn't really watching it all that intently.
You work for DraftKings, so tell us what happened.
I was just watching my DraftKings thing. It looked like it went into overtime.
It did, and the Raiders got the W.
They're a weird team, man.
I think what caught my eye the most off this game, and I think none of us really talked about previous to this week, was Peyton Barber. He had a good game.
What the F? Weird.
Well, Josh Jacobs was out.
Yeah.
Was he a game time decision? Or
Josh Jacobs? He got ruled out.
Yeah.
I feel like he got ruled out yesterday.
He wasn't a game time decision. I knew going in he wasn't going to play, so I feel like it was earlier in the week anyway. Speaking of running games too, that Miami Dolphins running game did absolutely nothing. Between Gaskins, Brown, it just was highly ineffective. Jalen Waddle, though, looks like the clear number one. I remember by the end of the third quarter, he had 9 targets in it. He is the number one in this offense, and I kind of regret not putting him in my lineup today. So what the F? If I lose because I didn't put Waddle in it when I was trying to trade him all week, that's a bad day.
Do we think that Miami's more competitive with Brissett in over Tua?
No, with Tua somehow. No? Oh God, I hate saying that. Probably with Tua. Oh,
I can't believe Joe said it. I
I was shocked.
I will admit a mistake when I make it, so it's all right. And to all the viewers that I also said that KJ Osborne was a good pickup off your waiver wire this week, which people gave me shit for in the comments. You were right, and I was wrong, so I will give you that. I did tell them to pick up Alexander Madison though too, because I didn't think he was going to play earlier in the week, and shit, did that look good? So hey, 1 for 2, 50%, right?
I guess if that's how you want to look at it.
That's how I want to look at it because I need to get W somewhere. Someone needs to do. Also, Ruggs had another good day. He was effective.
That is interesting to me. I still think he could have bad weeks, but he's got such big playability. He's getting the targets, and I think he's going to be safe flex.
Interesting. What about Hunter Renfro? He had a good week.
He's always got good weeks. The dude is just
weird.
He's consistent.
Well, yeah, he's very consistent. I think he's definitely needs to be on your roster. I don't know if he needs to be started every week, but
Derek Carr needs to be on your roster too if for some reason he's still out there. Another 300-yard game. Absolutely coming out of nowhere. He wasn't even on my radar this year.
Yep.
He's been good in fantasy for the past couple of years. He's just not that splashy, gonna get you the number 1 QB overall week.
Yeah,
but he's always been right.
But interesting as hell, guys.
But if you're someone that waits in your drafts for your quarterbacks, snagging him was a big win.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you guys more confident in a Derek Carr right now or a Ryan Tannehill?
I think Carr.
Wow.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting discussion right now. And I hear Derek Carr's name and it's just like, oh God, I don't even want to throw him on the roster. Him, Tannehill, and Kirk Cousins are kind of in that weird spot, although Kirk Cousins, my God, is he looking good. So we'll talk about that too. That's the last game we have really to get into tonight too. Kirk Cousins went for 323, 3 touchdowns, and they beat Seattle, who's now 1-2, surprisingly. Last place in their division, in a very stacked division. Madison, 26 carries on 112, 4.3 yards a carry, and he got a shit ton of passing work too. So absolutely looking good too. Justin Jefferson finally got his. He's woken up, 118 yards and a touchdown. Conklin even got a touchdown, so that's weird. He actually woke up. I'm sorry, guys. KJ Osborne, the big boy, I wanted him to do well this week. 2 catches for 26 yards. Not so good.
Not what you were going for there, was it?
Yeah, no, it was a little bit off in that prediction. So he's worth hanging on to, definitely, but not good. Not good at all. You might want to evaluate what his line matchup is next week. It's a very early for that, so we'll see what he's going up against. On the other end, Russell Wilson, Mr. Consistent, 23 of 32, 298 and a touchdown. Russell Wilson also rushed 3 times for 7 yards. Carson, also Mr. Consistent, 12 carries, 80 yards, touchdown, what he does every single week. And finally, DK Metcalf woke up. 6 receptions, 107 yards on 1 touchdown. That was on 17.8 yards average, so he was getting deep down the field.
Yeah.
Do we know who ended up covering DK?
I know Patrick Peterson was on him on a couple plays.
Gotcha. Okay, so he still picked up that assignment.
Consistent or anything.
I believe they were switching coverages on him too because of how Tyler Lockett was playing, and whatever they were planning, they were able to shut him down finally. So Lockett had one of those weird games, 4 receptions, 31 yards.
Back to earth.
Yeah, but that's only for one game, and when he has a bad one, it's finally going to be back for blast off next week. So, God, it's who do you start in DraftKings next week if you're looking to start one of them? DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett? It's
sorry if you're playing Lockett next week.
Yeah,
it's going to be heart attack city for you. After that first quarter, you'll know. You'll be like, "Yep, today's the day. We'll be good."
Yep.
You guys have any other thoughts on with the games currently tonight? What do you think's going to go on with the 49ers and Packers?
I think one game I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Washington game. I'm not loving Gibson. He actually had a decent day today, but really his one touchdown was off of a explosive reception.
And McKissick was showing to actually get more work again.
Yeah, so I don't love Antonio Gibson right now.
It's definitely getting worrisome.
Yeah.
I mean, he only scored because it was just a huge explosive play. I think McKissick's trying to steal all the goal line work.
Yep, and it's been a bad day in the NFL for garbage time fantasy football. So, Kyle Shanahan, listen to me now. Give me a damn gift. Get Trey Sermon as the starter on that offense. He should be. Do not give it to Trenton effing Cannon and put Brandon Ayuk in the starting lineup. He is way too talented to sit on your fucking bench. So play them because I don't want to cut them. I spent a ton of money in our auction league on it. So play your talented players and get over yourself. Yes, you're a genius. I'll tell you you're a genius. Now do it with your talented players.
Yes, you're a genius. Now listen to me because I'm clearly smarter.
And with that, Ron,
I'm totally unbiased.
Here, right? Completely.
Totally unbiased. I definitely don't need any fantasy implications about these things.
No. Ron, where can you find this damn show?
Somewhere on the internet, like www.garbagetimeff.com or, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, not Pandora yet, so don't look.
Tune in,
iHeart.
Ryan had a show this week.
Yes, Garbage Time presents the MMA show. We had a show this past week, did some predictions for you guys. We did pretty well. I went 10-3.
Good for you.
Casey beat me by 1, went 11-2. It's a pretty solid place to look. Yeah,
if you listen to him, he could have won some money this week.
You could have. We'll be back next week for the upcoming UFC event, so give us a look.
And like I said, Kyle Shanahan, do the right thing tonight. I think with that, Ron, we're ready to get out of here, right?
I love it. Till next
do it.
time.
Boom.